What's going on, everybody? This is your man, Dr. John C. Turner, aka the Professor JT, and I am here on another great episode of the Doc Chat Show. And you know, I always bring the heavy hitters with me, and I got some today. Now, we want to shout out the great Dr. Ruffin, Geddes, who will be joining us shortly. But I am so happy to have Dr. Vernon A. Ruffin, who is here with me on today. Now, if you're checking out the Doc Chat Show, holla at us. Let us know you're checking us out. Let us know where you got your doctorate degree from. Let us know where you're working on your doctorate degree at. As here on the Doc Chat Show, we love to support doctors from wherever you got your doctorate degree. Hello, Dr. Austin. We see you out there. Shout out to you. Appreciate you checking out the Doc Chat Show. So without further ado, we're going to let this great brother introduce himself, the great Dr. Vernon A. Ruffin. Welcome to the Doc Chat Show.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me. And, hello to everybody out there. Just as a brief background, my name is Vernon A. Ruffin, and I am a neurophysiologist. I'm from Hartford, Connecticut, and I got my degree from Howard University. And for those that don't know, Howard is in Washington, D.C. So, currently I am an associate professor at Virginia Union University, but I am also the CEO and the principal investigator of the Ruffin Neurolab, which is a resource for all of the people that are watching. You guys will learn about what that is later. But I'm happy to be here. So thank you.
That is correct. We're going to learn all about the Ruffin Neurolab later. I'm telling you, this man is killing it on LinkedIn, where I see him doing the great work in Richmond, Virginia. And I'm telling you, if you don't know nothing about it, you're going to surely learn something about it today. Shout out to Terry. Future Dr. Terry, we see you out there. Keep on working hard. We appreciate you checking out the Doc Chat tonight. And my guy, Dr. Woody, coming through, showing that love. He's down there in Petersburg there, Doc. He's nice. Right around the corner from us out there. So right. Shout out to Dr. Woody doing great things. So I'd like to go ahead and get started here. Dr. Ruffin, going to get that doctorate degree. Of course, you look like me. You a black male. Ain't a lot of us sometime there, but you said you went to the Mecca, so I know they showed you that love. So tell me, why go get your doctorate degree?
So I came from a family of educators, and I was always told that education is important. And, I felt from the neighborhood that I was in that, I had to go beyond. And so my brother, he's 5.5 years older. He's a medical doctor. Wow. And I thought about taking that path, but I was drawn to research, and so I was able to do some professional networking at my undergraduate institution. And from there, talking with my advisor, I ended up at Howard University. And that was, like you said, the Mecca, a wonderful place to be. And my brother is joining me right now. So great to have him here.
Dr. Roz, the man, the myth, the legend himself. We appreciate you joining the Doc Chat. Hey, we have just got started, so you're right on time. So go ahead. You're right on time. So
all right. Hello, brothers. Hello. Doctors, how are we doing?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good. Go ahead, say hello to the Doc Chat community, all the followers. Let us know a little bit about yourself, where you got your doctorate degree, what it was in, and what you're doing now in your career. Welcome to the Doc Chat.
Okay, so I'm Dr. Mustafa Irie Geddes. I got my doctorates from Hershey Medical Center, where I studied traumatic brain injury. I also studied addiction, and basically my PhD, I looked at a number of things, but it focused on behavioral neuroscience, neuroanatomy, and neurosurgery. And I used that to basically study the taste pathway. How do we learn? Taste condition aversion, drug addiction, and I went on to look at all different types of neurological diseases in preclinical models.
We love it. We love it. Got to show love to Dr. Roz. If you've watched this Doc Chat show for a minute, You know this boy checks it out every week, and we appreciate you. We appreciate you checking it out so much there. We appreciate you, my brother. Now, we just got done talking to Dr. Ruffin about his journey. So
I'm
why
hearing
go get it?
echo.
Yeah, there might be Dr. Roz a little bit, but we about to
Oh,
give him a mic
okay.
here. Yes, just so when we talk, we'll go ahead and mute it. But you're good now. You're good. We're gonna ask you why go get a doctor degree? Why decide to do that? Well, now you
We're
gotta take
talking to Dr. Ruffin, correct?
talking to you, man, talking to you.
Me?
Yeah, you're up.
First of why? Why not?
I feel that. We feel
um,
it.
so here's the thing. In life, we like to progress, and it was just a natural progression, right? I did a dissertation as an undergraduate, so I did a lot of work. I actually had an undergraduate honors thesis at Binghamton University, where I studied seizures activity. So looking at canic acid-induced seizures to study epilepsy, I did an undergraduate honors thesis. I defended, had an oral and written defense. It was really good. I enjoyed it. And I used one figure from that to get my way to Hershey Medical Center to work with the Venucci's, Robert and Susan Venucci, who they co-invented the perinatal hypoxia ischemia model. So looking at asphyxia through birth. And since they invented the technique, I was like, why go learn the technique in someone else's lab when I can go learn it from the actual inventors? So I went to Hershey Medical Center in the pediatric unit, and I worked with them to master my skills and be able to do what I would consider microsurgery, right? Doing surgery on P1, so postnatal day one rats, which are really, really small animals, and their brain is pretty small. So understanding the anatomy of the brain in such a small species. So yeah, that's what I did. And then from there, the natural progression, that was basically for my master's thesis. And the natural progression was to actually do a PhD. And it wasn't even so much about the degree as it was I was following the work.
Yeah, yes, yes. We love that. We love that. Now, Dr. Ruffin, you're in the doctor program now. You're in it. Tell us those moments where it was like, man, this thing done got real. Like those moments where individuals in the doctor degree now or they're interested in the doctor degree, they should know about time you hit this class or about time you hit this moment in the doctor degree, you better get ready.
Well, I can distinctly remember, I guess this would be during the time when I had completed my classes and it was time to take the comprehensives. And I was naturally somebody that liked to be social. I liked, being around friends, and I had to cut all of that back. And I even had, I was in a relationship, and the stress from that relationship, I said, this cannot impact what I'm trying to do. And so I remember,
Yeah.
so they had this room, the graduate room at Howard University, where graduate students had a key, and we would be able to study in there. And so I actually just moved everything books wise that I needed into that room, and I started staying in that room because I realized that like it was either I sink or swim. And by then I had a daughter, so
Okay.
I had the pressure of finishing. And there was a couple of times in my career where I had those make or break moments. I mean, there's times I had been homeless and I was just trying to finish my degree, and the money from the stipends and the source resources available for a student weren't enough to cover living.
No, that's
And
right.
I knew
Yeah.
that the further away I was from the lab, the less work I'd get done. So I just moved into the lab, and ever since then, it's just been you know, a uphill fight. Well, not uphill, but for education, yes, we've always been so we're equal.
That's real. That's real. Dr. Rise, what about yourself? When did it get real for you in the doctor program?
Well, it started out real. So what happened was, so when I finished getting my master's, Dr. Venucci, Robert and Susan decided to go from Hershey Medical Center to actually Columbia University in New York
Wow.
City. I grew up in New York City. Harlem and the Bronx, right? So for me, going to upstate Binghamton for my undergrad, I left a lot of things in the city which I consider negative influences, right? And so for me, going back to the city, I was trying to, I contemplated going with them um, back to New York City to kind of do my work with them there. But the peace that I got in Hershey Medical Center, which Hershey is the sweetest place on earth when you wake up in the mornings, most often than not, smells like chocolate, right? It's a very peaceful place. I really got to hone in and focus, and I built a life for myself.
Yeah.
And I knew there was a lot of influences that going to college I got away from. And I didn't want to risk that. So then I had to find an opportunity, and I did so with Patricia Sue Grigson, who worked in the behavioral department as a neuroscientist, and she was studying addiction, and I used taste diversion and other types of learning, dessert effect, and these kind of things to understand the brain. So there was an opportunity to take what I've done with the perinatal hypoxia ischemia, funny enough, that I learned from the Benucci's. When I damage the brain of these individuals by, or individual mice by depriving them of oxygen and blood flow, I learned that these animals that had brain injury, they learned, but they learned differently. So it wasn't that they were stupid. It was just that their brain was rewired because of the deficit. So I took that knowledge and went into addiction research. How do we learn taste aversion and how do we learn an addiction? Because in the brain, it's all the same. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's what I took upon myself, and it got real when I realized in the program it wasn't about the classes. You know, I did very well in classes. I was really good. It got real when I realized I was being judged by other things, right?
Mm.
Being in Hershey, Pennsylvania, there's not a lot of minorities in our situation. So there was few and far between. So yeah, it got real when I realized that regardless of the degrees I had now, bachelor's degree, master's degree, doing very well in these classes, people were trying to shape my behavior.
Mm.
And my mentality wouldn't allow that because I have a
Yeah.
strong sense of self. So I had to learn how to manage that. And that's when it got real for me. I'll tell you, because it's very important to hear the story. So Dr. Ruffin and I are in the NIMH, National Institute of Mental Health. We actually had basically some training grant, right? We're part of a training grant. That's how we met. And so if I told you about Dr. C. Albert Troff, who was one of his mentors,
Okay.
he invited me to Howard University, said that, staying at Penn State, we realized the people, my best interest wasn't in these people's interests. And so he offered me an opportunity. I had basically everything packed to go, my name on the door, to move and go down there and continue my studies in physiology. And he was also a fellow Jamaican, which, I'm from Jamaica. So it was something that I considered a lot. And that's probably one of my regrets to today in life is that I didn't take him up on that. But my mentality
Mm.
was, if I did take him up on that and go there to this HBCU, would I always question myself about my stance in the PWI, predominantly white institution, and did I run from something I wanted to a safer place?
Okay.
So I gave up what would have been a brilliant mentorship, just to have a peace of mind.
Gotcha.
That's real to me.
Okay. That's the real talk we're talking about here on the Doc Chat tonight. If you're checking us out, let us know in the comments that you're checking out Dr. Geddes, Dr. Ruffin. They are here talking about the real, and the real is what we talk about here on the Doc Chat show. Because I'm telling you, if you're gonna go this route, you see three black male doctors on here. This ain't no joke. It don't matter what color you are. This is no joke. But that's why we have them here talking about the real. Now, Dr. Ruffin, let's go ahead and get to that finish line. You finishing up that Dr. Gree, what was your dissertation on and how was that process for you?
So I actually was on a grant to learn a special technique called patch clamping, and it was offered at another institution. That grant brought me up to Albert Einstein, where I learned that technique, and that lab actually moved to California. So now I'm at UCSD, and at the whole time at my institution, Howard, there was a change of guards, you may say, and so the question is, well, he should be here. And so there were a lot of times that I actually got out of school because of the paperwork. And so I had to make sure that I always stayed registered and make sure that that side was aware of what was going on. Because with the grant, that grant is taking an isolated route separate from the rest of the university workings. And so somebody coming into the university may not even understand what's taking place when it comes to research. And so my research was on the pH physiology of the brain. And I was studying a particular channel in California called the Slack channel. The Slack channel basically is a potassium channel that's, activated by sodium activated potassium channel. And it's used to help the cell respond from being depolarized. So it brings the cell back to normal. And that was what I wanted to finish my research on. But because of the pressures of me having to finish, I and not being able to use that work because that investigator didn't want me to let it out until I had finished it. But I had the pressure of I need to finish before this certain amount of years. I had to use the research that I originally was trained on, which was CFOS expression in the brain. And we would use these different chemical stimulators, whether it's pH, altering it with, changing the pH metabolically or changing the pH using CO2. Both of those activities cause the brain to become activated. And we can show that activation using the CFOS protein. And when I would damage the ventral surface of the brain and repeat those studies, you didn't see that expression. So it led us to believe that the ventral surface of the brain was the locus of all of these brain functions. And we called it the chemical switch. It would be similar to if you go into a house and you turn on the lights in every room, but then you go down to the basement and you turn off that generator. We thought we had found the generator. And so that's really what I defended my research on. And from there, I continued to be interested in pH, which was the stimulus for breathing, but it was also the function that controlled the kidney and, so many different things. And so at the cellular level, I became interested in the proteins that regulate cellular pH. And that was what I did my postdoc research
on. Awesome. Awesome. And Dr. Raj, about yourself, how is that finished for you, that doctorate finish line?
Well, that doctorate finish line, I often tell people I did 10 years in the Penn State, that is. So, it took me 10 years to finish up my master's and my PhD. I got a publication out of it really early, and it was interesting because I did so much work. I had 8 data chapters, and one of them published. My dissertation committee, they read about 4 chapters and said, this is way too much. So I have 4 chapters of data sitting on the shelf at Penn State
Wow.
that was part of my dissertation that was just taken out and is sitting there, which I'm hoping to get back to at some point. But I really went really hard to that, and yeah, it was really interesting. We can talk about the day. I'm not sure if that's what you're ready to talk about, but the actual defense itself, when I defended, when they said it's over, I was in disbelief. It's quite similar to, when you cross the Golden Shore. I was in disbelief because I went so hard for so long. I couldn't believe that I actually achieved that goal. So I was, I was tearing up, meaning I was doing very well in the defense orally. I taught very well. I was very in depth with the work that I was doing, really in tune to the point that I think some of the things that I knew were beyond what my professors at the time knew because they didn't spend the time in the laboratory doing that, right? That's what they relied on us to do. And so I was at a very comfortable place. So when all the questions finished and they said, congratulations, you're a doctor. I'm like, okay, I don't believe you. So that's I was in disbelief.
Hey, that's what it's about. Into that finish line. Hey, we see the man himself, Mike King. Drop it in. We appreciate you, my guy. I'm telling you, had a good interview with him a few weeks ago. Appreciate everything he's doing in Richmond. He is truly the businessman down there doing great things. We appreciate you. This is the Doc Chat Show, everybody. Dr. Ruffin, Dr. Geddes, they're here today, and I'm telling you, they're telling you the real about getting that doctorate degree done. Now, let's see if I can get it pulled up here. Gonna pull up some shots here because these gentlemen are doing the thing. I'm telling you, they are doing their thing in the communities, especially for the youth, especially when it comes to business and in STEAM, all those great things. Let me see if I can get y'all put up real quick. Give me 1 second. Present.
Trying to figure out what he's gonna pull up.
All right, got a few things here. Let me get this over here. All right, so I've just got y'all in a mix in a smorgasbord of photos here. So we'll start with Dr. Ruffin. Tell me about the work, man. Tell me about the work that you're doing with the Ruffin Neuro Lab.
Yes, those pictures are from, there's my niece right there too. Yeah, so basically I went home on vacation, and my vacation is what you're seeing here. I love doing what I'm doing, and it's actually what I was designed to do through the training. And it's important that students know these options. I mean, how can you decide what you want to be if you don't know the options? I mean, you can imagine things, but your imagination has to be grounded in something.
Right.
And for a lot of these kids, this is the first time they're being exposed to a doctor that is not somebody servicing them, also a male doctor, a black male doctor, and then on top of that, someone who does neuroscience. And so it's a opening eye moment for them to see somebody that's actually from their neighborhood. That particular school, my parents are sitting in the background, and my mom is the one standing, not in the yellow, but in the brown. And the principal is in the yellow. And the situation for this particular picture is there was some cutbacks in the city, and they felt that some of those cutbacks would be best served if they got rid of some science faculty.
Wow.
You need those tests to pass those state exams.
That's
So
right.
they're basically taking a resource away, and I'm showing them, look, this is what science from the public schools produced.
Beautiful.
I'm the neurophysiologist representing that particular city, and I don't know many that are doing what I'm doing. And when I run into them, we have this brotherhood. So Dr. Geddes mentioned that we met through a program. That program, I found out about that program because somebody came and told me about an opportunity. And I said, well, do I need to be in that particular place to learn about these opportunities, or can I bring these opportunities to kids wherever they are? And so that's actually my daughter right there, which is where this particular story starts with the Neuro Lab. I returned to my undergraduate institution. So not only am I an alum, but I'm now also faculty. And then she also went to the institution. So now I'm a parent. I have triple investment going on.
Yeah.
And I'm actually paying out of pocket what I'm supposed to be getting. But behind the scenes, I'm also a professor. And so it really made me start examining my own rigor, making sure that I was in the best position to pass on what I had learned. And also, I encouraged other people that were at the institution to do the same. And so I really just started plugging in to all of the different aspects of her education that I could. I was very passionate about research, and so that's where I started. And
Okay.
that's where Dr. Geddes and I linked back up soon. So I'll let Dr. Geddes, who's in this picture, also start filling in his story.
Yes, sir. Go right for it. Let's-
So you want me to talk about that picture right there? Is that what we're doing?
Well, we on to
Or
you,
that
man.
one?
We on to you. Start talking about kind of the work you're doing with GNN and
Right.
the work you both did together as well.
I'll get to GNN, but I have to start with the Ruffin Lab, man, and the Stream Team, STEM Warriors, because um unfortunately, right before COVID hit, I was in a series of car accidents. People hit my car, um, four-car pileup, T-bone, and then a really bad accident in the snow. And I was basically a traumatic brain injury researcher that's become a victim of brain injury. I've had several concussions due to these car accidents, to the point where I actually temporarily lost the ability to walk. So I had to give up my job at University of Wisconsin, where I was probably a good 8 months to a year out of having a professorship, and I lost it all due to physical health. I had to come back home to Atlanta here, where my parents are, and where I previously worked at Emory University Brain Research Lab, and basically heal from the trauma of that experience, losing my job, losing my health. I was down to 120 pounds back in December, right?
Wow. Wow.
Of last year. And so once I got through the trauma of what happened to me, I tapped back in with my PNC, my partner in crime there, Dr. Ruffin. And I said, hey, slowly getting my health back and my mind, is moving. I need to do something. Um, and running around Atlanta now because I got a little bit of health back. I tapped back in with Science ATL, which I just came from. They just had a event this evening for awarding the volunteers in their program. And I was around when it started back in 2013, where Jordan Rose started this thing. And so I tapped back in with him as well locally to run around to be able to interact and use my mind and try to make my way back. But I also tapped back into my brother there, Dr. Ruffin, and said, hey, what's going on with you? I need to do some neuroscience. And he let me know what was going on, how he's actually investing in himself and his family, and had the LLC going in the entrepreneurial space.
But
And
no,
so
not
I
even,
took every
not even, not
oh,
even yet though. Not even yet. We're not even at that stage where I had the entrepreneurial space. If we want to really bring the story together, at the time, I was so passionate about the research that I had left, and if you allow me to share the screen, after I can actually give you a little bit more detailed about what's
Yep.
taking place.
You ever to go right ahead. Go
All
right ahead.
right.
Yeah. Should be present and
this is
then
why we work well together.
I love it. I love it.
All right. So we're gonna look at.
These brothers doing great work here. Let's show one more. Got my king
While he's doing that, I
with
want to thank
love.
you, Brother John C. Turner, for everything that you're doing, man. This is a beautiful, beautiful space you've created.
Amen. I give God the glory. Thank God for all of the doctors who have just blessed me so much with saying, I'm coming on. I want to share my doctoral journey here on the Doc Chet Show. I believe we've got to be over 50 different doctors since March that have come on the Doc Chet Show just to share their story. And it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Definitely blessed and excited to see what's going to happen. Excited to see. All right.
So can you see my screen?
I got you up right there. There you go.
I'm actually at a conference right now for the Society for Neuroscience. And so you guys are getting a peek in at what I just spoke about, which is what we are actually talking about.
Okay.
And
So
so,
can you select just that one slide so we can make sure we see it? Put it in that slide platform at the top. Make sure we get that whole thing.
so you can't see what I'm sharing now or no?
We can see it. We can see the ones on the slide on the left, but if this is fine, we can see it. You're good. As long as you can click through and be okay, you're good.
All right. So
Yeah.
basically, what I did was bring the research that I was so used to doing at these other institutions. And so I was at Virginia Union and Howard and Albert Einstein and University of California, as I explained. But I also kept going back home and working with the students and letting them know about these opportunities. And I ran into Ben Carson, but this was in between me going to Yale and then Case Western, where I did my postdoc. And the research that I was doing, I mean, pH is central to cell physiology. So it was starting to be recognized all around the world. And I knew that it was strong enough to come back and tell people about and also be able to create projects because pH affects so many things. The drive was that there weren't a lot of people that looked like me in this space. And so when I came back to my undergraduate institution, I brought research with me and I was able to start the first lab. And here's my daughter over here benefiting from the training that was initiated by my mentor. And I was able to start an actual lab. And so here's where I would honor the mentors that came and open these doors for me. But my passion for research and helping people and with Dr. Geddes grew to the point where we were actually now creating something that was not present before. I don't know too many people that are spending their own money trying to help education in a space and actually not even like all of last year, we really didn't charge for anything. But we had connected with so many different entities. And so as Dr. Geddes was just mentioning, yes, now I have my own independent lab space where I have all of this equipment. I can do professional development and academic training and research training and all of these different things. And Dr. Geddes was very instrumental in helping me get to this point because not only am I in the institution where I have a lab service in the university, I have an independent lab that can supplement what the needs are of that university. It's also a space that STEM professionals who have entrepreneurial spirits or who need resources to continue to develop, they can use that as a watering hole or more or less incubation space. And so when Dr. Geddes contacted me, that was exactly what I had designed, something that would capture those people that have all of this brilliant skills. I mean, you've heard Dr. Geddes talking. He's talking about all of this research and stuff that he's been exposed to. We combine our efforts to basically have whatever we know be for the people. And so we service the community. We service whoever's looking for STEM. It's not even just neuro anymore. It's wherever the need is. And Dr. Geddes is, holding down the Georgia location because, I mean, especially in the age of internet and all of these different platforms, we are able to connect and be very instrumental. And there's a lot more of us,
This is just flat out amazing to hear the work and to not only hear it, see it being done. This is what we're talking about here on the Dot Check, folks. These are the things you can do with your doctorate degree. You can take it from the classroom to the streets, and that's what these brothers are doing. So back to Dr. Geddes, talk about now that next step. As he said, Ruffin Neurolab is in Atlanta because of you. You got it there. So tell us about even the work that you're doing down there and how it's even transitioned into GN.
Yes. So what I was able to do, so just to rewind a little bit, back in 2013, before I left Emory University Brain Research Lab, I created STEM course called My Brain and Me. And what My Brain and Me is, it's a 10-hour introduction to neuroscience and traumatic brain injury, where I go visit schools. Started with fourth and fifth graders, and then ended up K through 12. But I would visit schools and I would teach them about their brain, starting with the five senses, and then where is all of this located in your brain. And then I basically would hit them with traumatic brain injury and what that means for everything that they just learned. And then these individuals would come to my laboratory where I was working, see the preclinical research, see the animals, the people I work with, and then they spend the rest of the day at CHOA, which is the Children's Hospital, with children their age with brain injury. It's a phenomenal program, right? And so that's my brain in me. And so that's what I invested in. That's my baby. So I took that concept for 10 years and I was funding it myself, going to schools. I brought it out to Wisconsin with me, and I just that was my thing, my contribution. But it cost me my job at Emory University because they said I was distracted. But what I was doing was using that opportunity to recruit high school and undergraduate students that then I can actually train in the laboratory and head them down the MD PhD path. And so when I got back after my injury and I'm getting myself together, the Ruffin Neural Lab allowed me a place while I was doing that here in Atlanta, running around through Science Atlanta, doing it at different schools and through their contacts. I was able to extend this type of teaching as well through Dr. Ruffin to VA, and so we created this GA to VA bridge, right? So from Georgia to Virginia, Virginia to Georgia. So now I have a reach in Richmond, Virginia. He has a reach in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm interacting with students up there. He's interacting with students down here. And so basically, out of all of that and doing everything, you have to create your own as well, right? You have to invest in yourself. So just taking my brain and me and the
Yeah.
stuff I've been learning with
Yeah.
Dr. Ruffin, we've been doing together with the symposiums and all the things that we've been doing. I started to morph my brain and me into GNN, Geddes Neural Network, because my health is slowly recovering, and it's been hard for me to have a 9 to 5 job because I still have consistent back injuries. I have no health care, so pretty bad situation. So what I did was say, hey, with this computer here and what we've been doing, we're lighting up Atlanta, we're lighting up Virginia, right? Richmond specifically, Atlanta out here, College Park, all of that. Why
Nice.
don't I've been in this? Why don't I've been in this? Oh, oh God, I'm dating myself. Almost 30 years, right? Why don't I use that extensive professional connections going from Binghamton University to Emory University, University of Wisconsin, Penn State, all of these places, right? Now the connections that I have with Dr. Ruffin and everything he's been doing professionally, why not use the network, right? And
Right.
basically be able to bring resources and training to individual local needs. And so that's what GNN is. It's Getty's Neural Network, which is my way of reaching out to my professional connections. And what we do is it's building a global network beginning with local need or local pride. So I'm from Jamaica, and ultimately I'm gonna, build a brain shaped building in Jamaica. So when you're flying over it, that's gonna GNN. That's what you're gonna see. But the whole idea was, how can I pull these resources together? And then, just like we're doing right now in Nigeria and Ghana, and we're working with to get to in Ethiopia, is build a local um, group of people who are from there, they're invested in there, and give them access to my professional network so they can determine what are the local needs in education, which revolves around traumatic brain injury education, my brain and me, right? And then the
Mm-hmm.
career training on top of that, which is what I would give to the undergrads and the graduate students in neurological science, in neuroscience, brain trauma, these kind of things, my areas expertise, surgery, anatomy, right? And then how can we then turn that into some sort of career training where they can learn some skills in the healthcare field and get a job. And then finally, the other fourth pillar of that is wealth care or financial literacy. And so that's what GNN is. It's trying to bring awareness to education, career training, healthcare, and wealth care.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Here on the Doc Chat, folks are still checking in. My guy, Dr. Dix, doing this thing in Indianapolis. We appreciate you so much. And we got the Padella. We appreciate you. Hey, tuning in, giving those good words. This is how we learn. Experiential learning. This is exactly what these brothers are doing. And we appreciate it so much. Once again, we're here with Dr. Geddes, Dr. Ruffin, here on the Doc Chat Show. Let's see. I got one more here to get pulled up. Let's see if I can get it pulled up here.
So while that's being pulled up, the question is what was really bothering me is what happens to those students that have all of those skills that graduate and don't end up getting those jobs.
Talk about it.
We're seeing the advent of AI right now, and the world is panicking. So even the people that have those extensive skills, whether it's in STEM or just regular type of job, everybody's being threatened. And so what happens to that population, that money that was invested, that time that was invested? Who is there?
Mm-hmm.
And I found nobody.
Wow.
Nobody.
Wow.
And if you are a real STEM advocate or you are a real education person and you're supporting education, and I know that you had to at least see one of my posts, because I'm posting like crazy. So you're seeing the impact of what I'm doing, what we are doing as a community. And I'm saying that it's privately funded. And so people have to know at some level there has to be some type of something, I mean, if I'm actually making an impact in Virginia and he's actually making an impact in Georgia, and we're saying that, there's a need for change. Everybody recognizes the change and they use all of these different excuses about why something can't be changed. Well, here is the change. And so the question then becomes, where is the support for the change?
Come on.
So, I mean, when we gave our first symposium, the price, we made the price just writing on a piece of paper, I support the Ruffin Neural Lab. And it was very difficult. You actually passed the neural art where that campaign went. And so if you were to click to see the neural art,
let's do it.
You would see that we got stuff from everywhere. So Dr. Geddes made that image for me because I was campaigning so hard that I love neuro. And I didn't know if people recognize that neuroscience is learning. And so Dr. Geddes would say, well, why don't they like the babies? What do the babies do? And so what we basically said was everything that comes from your brain is neuroscience. I tried to make a commercial. It's a rap. I had a rap career in the day. But we started getting stuff from everywhere. So you see it's from Germany, somebody from Alabama. And if you continue with scrolling, you see where we're in jewelry stores and we're in we're in weird places that people can't, the demographic, they can't touch that demographic. And so that was the price. And we saw that we didn't get a lot of that love that we thought we, for this effort that we, it's all up,
Yeah.
It's all up. And so we are still, this was a couple years ago. We're still getting neural art. I need to update this database, but look at this guy right here. He's amazing,
Yeah.
Such potential. That's the target that we're trying to hit. And when they get to college, we want to make sure that they have those resources
for sure
to do whatever they want to do. That's some ice right there.
Yeah.
That's serious right there. So
that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And I'm telling you already, Dr. Geddes, they already asked him for it. Hey,
yeah.
They asked him for it. This is a medical doctor here. He said, connect with him. Make sure y'all connect with these brothers on LinkedIn. They doing the work. I'm telling you. And they showing you mad love because this is awesome. This is what we're talking about, taking your doctorate to the next level. Absolutely love it. Now, let's go to what work is being done in Georgia right now because we kind of want to see how people can connect with you both and what's the next steps that you're looking to take in Ruffin Neuro Lab.
So we actually have an emergency number for people that need help in STEM or need to contact is 1-804-575-STEM, which is 7836. So 1-804-575-7836. You can also go to the website, and Dr. Geddes has his information there on the website and also on LinkedIn. And the next steps for us, we basically took all of last year to have evidence of what we were saying that we were able to do. So we now have that evidence, and we have been approached by funders,
Okay.
and we just had to basically say, hold on, we're getting everything together. So now we're in the process of partnering with different entities and looking for additional partners because all we're saying is let's keep this pure.
For
Let's
sure.
keep this clean. We have all of this expertise. Let's come together to protect ourselves because education is being attacked. Our communities are being attacked, and we are in the position to help. And how I designed this formula, everybody gets paid,
Mm.
even without the grant funding. There's money. If you are an associate professor or an assistant professor or an avid learner or something, and you have some skills that you want to pass the community, I've created a platform for that.
Wow.
It's already being emulated by different PWIs because they're trying to figure out the formula. But this is for the community.
Yeah. Yeah. We want to keep it that way. And I'm telling you right now, they already saying, hey, we need this to really get to the masses. We appreciate you, Rob. They saying they want to connect us. They want to connect all of us, connect us to more people so they can learn more about this. This is what this is about. And Dr. Geddes, going to let you go ahead and speak a little bit as well. What do you want the people to know right now? You guys are really spilling everything about the work y'all doing. I want more people to hear about it. What do you think people should know?
So I got a couple things I want to say, and I'm gonna feed forward into kind of what we're doing now. But before I get there, I would like you to go back up and go to that the Arnold, Georgia, just to kind of bring this right back around. If you can click on that and scroll down a little bit to the
Gotcha.
young man that's there holding a brain in the poster. Um, that's me having fun at the camps. Yeah, this picture right here, right? So if
Gotcha.
you zoom in, that's my son, Javon Geddes. And so, as we do, this thing starts with family, right? But if you zoom really into that picture here and see how this thing was started, he's a young boy, and up in one of these pictures here, I have my nephews that's in Jamaica and all of this kind, because it started from them, like same thing from family and trying to, how do you educate your family with everything that you have learned to do and give them options, outside of the norm for us. And so this poster here is exactly the my brain and me. And what I'm doing currently right now is updating this experience because the whole idea, if you can just scroll up a little bit so they can see the poster, right? What we show here is basically the program that I explained where the children can go to the hospital. You can zoom back out, but I just want to show them the big picture of way to the right of that. The ultimate goal of this thing was to be able to reach the children. If you can see McNair, Trio, the
Yeah.
People Program. So I'm a mentor for at least or 12 different programs as I had my university jobs, right? With the idea of I can reach the kids when they're young, teach them about the brain, get into when they're junior high, high school, undergrad, graduate. But then eventually, what we want to do is be able to have more representation on boards that are deciding who is entered into medical school and then entered into
Yeah.
graduate school in this great nation of ours, right?
Right.
So that's what this was all about, and it started with family. And I definitely have to give a shout out to Dr. Ronald. E. McNair and the McNair Scholars Program. I have to
Yep.
give a shout out to Binghamton University and the Equal Opportunity Program, especially in light of everything that's been going on recently. Binghamton Enrichment Program, Trio Program, all of these programs, because I am a product of and I'm a mentor for life of these programs because it changed my life. When we talk, we'll get to the next show on you'll be here in Atlanta and stuff. But when we talk more in depth, yeah, I'm from a small, I'm from the bottom of a mountain in Jamaica, very small town with one major road. And we came to America. My family came to America for education because, Dr. Ruffin is from an educated family. He comes from education. Well, my experience is if you don't have money and you're dark skin, you can't go past the fifth grade.
Come on,
That's
talk
where I
about it.
come from. That's what I'm birthed out of. So to come to America before 5 and becoming a brain scientist is phenomenal. Like the first neuroscientist from my town. And so I wanted a way to give back. And that's what this is all about. How do I give back? Um, yeah, so then if you can get back to the post and or just scroll down that page there, what you'll see is some events that we've been doing or that we've had in the past with STREAM, science, technology, research, engineering, arts, and mathematics. You can stop right there, right? But the whole question is within that, um, digesting the future of STREAM, which is science, technology, research, engineering, arts, mathematics, education, and open AI technology. That's where our head has been for the last year or so, where we're actively
Yeah.
first of all, we showed our wide reach, that we have a global reach by having individuals, from Italy to Iowa, Wisconsin, Virginia, all over the place to come and present. For from even here in Atlanta, the first director, Dr. Mashuna Morris here, Dr. Mom, first director of the first complete virtual campus, right here at Morehouse, spoke at our event. And what we've been doing is slowly incorporating, or steadily, I should say, incorporating AI technology into our operations and into our educational teaching because we have to.
Love it.
It's our obligation to prepare the youth to be a viable candidate for the future workforce. And if we don't
Love it.
understand the importance of AI technology and its integration into everything, we will fail as mentors, as teachers, as educators, as guides. And so that's what we're currently we've been doing and will continue to do. And we're looking for partnerships, right? To be able
Yep.
to really take this to the far place. And I say that to say we're here in Atlanta now, and I've spent a lot of time humbling myself and learning about AI technology from folks half my age, right? But I understand the importance
Yeah.
of that, and to get to be able to interact with groups like Blacks in Technology, Atlanta chapter here, with Maloney Boatswain and Brian Willis, and we're working and you two gentlemen along with Mike. I'm telling you guys that's Richmond's Black and Technology chapters right there between you three gentlemen, and we're gonna make this happen with the help of Carmen Dawson and the Med Corridor. So this thing is already in the works, guys. Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to mention that stuff. That's where our head is. Our head is future workforce, and how do we equip ourselves to be able to equip the students for that future.
We love that. We love that. And shout out to the McNair Scholars Program. A lot of people may not know this. I am the only national 3-time Ronald E. McNair Scholar to do 3 different research opportunities at 3 different institutions. Shout out to Carl McNair. Got that boy in my contacts. He is the greatest guy ever down there in Atlanta. Shout out to all the McNair scholars. Something he told me not too long ago. He's fighting to keep the McNair Scholars Program because if some of these powers that be had it, they would scrap it. And he even said not only did somebody with some different color hair than us, when he got in office, almost scrapped it. But thanks be to God, they kept the Ronald E. McNair Scholars Program and they added money to it to add, I think he said like 15 more chapters around the nation. So shout out to McNair Scholars Program. That program saved my life and is truly saving lives because it gets individuals in undergrad, graduate level research at that age so they can go on and get their doctorate degree. So definitely shout out to them and shout out to the work y'all doing.
Can I
Telling y'all.
piggyback on that for a
Go
second? And
ahead.
just, I just had a talk with Carl about a week ago.
Nice,
And
nice.
yeah, we should definitely to talk about that, you and I, because there's a lot going on and a lot of things that we need to do as post-grads of the program to be
Yep,
able to make sure this thing continues and it evolves with the technology as well. So I agree totally, and that's just another pin to what we're doing here. So absolutely.
for sure, for sure. All right, now y'all see how fast an hour ago when we having fun, these brothers came and told y'all the great work they're doing. The Geddes Neural Network, the Ruffin Neuro Lab. If you are not connected with these brothers, they about to tell you right now how you connect with them and get involved with what they're doing. So, Dr. Ruffin, tell us where folks can connect with you and give us some last words about the great Ruffin Neuro Lab.
So I am on the majority of all social platforms. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, even the new thing Threads. I'm on that also, and so I'm on TikTok because I'm trying to reach different audiences.
There you
right?
go.
So
There you
all
go.
of those platforms serve
Yeah.
different purposes.
Yeah.
But of course, you can also go to the website www.ruffinneurolab.com, and when you do, on the homepage at the bottom, you can fill out the contact information. We have an app actually that
Nice.
we are pushing now more so to use, and also, like I said, we have that emergency number 804-575 STEM. So yeah, at the bottom of that homepage, you can see where there's information for you to fill out. There you go.
Up of the
Okay.
home page. That's it. That is ruffinneurolab.com. Make sure you reach out to them, get involved. We appreciate you. That is
Definitely.
that.
And it will be a good time too for any people that actually want to be involved because we are writing grants. And so we need to know what people out there actually support the mission of what we're doing. And so,
Awesome.
yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Thank you
Awesome.
again for this
Oh,
time.
thank you. Thank you. And Dr. Geddes, where can folks find you and learn more about the work that you're doing?
So as Dr. Ruffin and I spoke about the other day, it's probably easier to list the places you won't find me. So just I'm everywhere. We're everywhere,
Yeah.
right? But no, really, Dr. Ruffin has taken me out of my shell as far as social media is concerned. So I'm boxing around on all the regular social media platforms. I'll be starting an audio show next week.
Nice.
So look out for that. But yeah, I'm LinkedIn. I'm the LinkedIn king. I'm on LinkedIn making it happen.
Yes.
So really get with me on LinkedIn. I'm building teams. Like I said, from Nigeria, Ghana, Ethiopia. We're talking to, a neurologist in Barcelona, Spain. We got Jamaica on the map. I got 9 aunts and uncles and a big family in England. I got brothers and sisters in Canada. So I have hopes and dreams of reaching all of these places, man. So it's in the works. Get at me. We here, we all over the place.
We love it. We love it. And we appreciate you. Dr. Teller, we appreciate you. I'm telling you, this is what they do. They taking the time, elevating the brethren, elevating the children, elevating the communities. That's what we do here on the Jock Chat. And if y'all don't know, we're thankful for the 25,000 that we just hit on LinkedIn. So thankful for the reach. And we're also thankful that we gave 4 $250 scholarships to some great doctoral students That's what we do here on the Doc Chat Show, folks. Hey, what podcast you know that's doing education work and giving the viewers and students money that are going for those doctor degrees? I don't know any, but you know one now. It's called the Doc Chat Show. I appreciate everybody so very much. Hey, Rob, we see you, man. That's where we at. We all out here, DMV. I'm telling you, you got ATL, you got Richmond. Hey, we'll definitely come up to you. Let's get that set up. I'm telling you, if you checking these brothers out, make sure you check them out on LinkedIn, connect with them. Dr. Vernon Ruffin, Dr. Rustaffer Geddes. I'm telling you, thank you, brother, so much. And don't think I didn't hear you, Dr. Geddes, talking about when we come back for the next episode. I heard you, brother. So if y'all want to come back, let me know, because I know y'all got more. And if y'all want to keep spreading this message, I want y'all to do it here on the Doc Chat Show on this platform. Dr. Ruffin, you got something to head us out?
For sure, man. I appreciate everything. Dr. Geddes, you know, this is what it's all about. Dr. Geddes, you got something to say. Take it off mute.
Yeah. What we have a missing leg here. What I'd like to see is mic on here. So we have that four panel here, and we can really talk about entrepreneurship. That's what this next thing is about. Entrepreneurship. We need to talk about that seriously. Financial literacy, learning not only becoming doctors, but let's become wealthy doctors, mentally and monetarily.
We love it. We love it. Hey, that is what we do here on the Doc Chat Show, folks. An unbelievable show tonight with some unbelievable doctors. Dr. Ruffin, Dr. Geddes, thank y'all both so much. To all the viewers, to everybody tapping in once again, thank y'all so much. And as we say when we close out, baby, until next time, peace out. We appreciate y'all.